Okay, so in the advanced Canvas course yesterday, I was asked to show how to embed a Google slide into the Canvas. In this case, this is my homepage. So when my students get into Canvas, this is the very, very first thing they see is this homepage. So I made a Google slide into a calendar, and that is what allowed my students to get right on and know exactly what they were doing. Now, a lot of people use modules or assignments. Kevin Gary yesterday showed how to make a homepage or a landing page. So it's the first thing the students see. And I decided that that's the perfect place to put this calendar. I do realize they have a different calendar over here, and some kids struggled with that calendar, in my opinion, because it was a little more confusing and it just showed you the due dates and what you'd done. And this was very specific to my class and what I wanted them to do daily and in order. The nice thing about a slideshow too is it is still a Google slideshow. So I would put whatever slide was current at the very top, and then they could go back in time by just clicking the arrow. So they knew exactly what we did every week. Now that appears to be a lot of stuff, but a lot of it was just quick readings to get some vocab. So every week they can go back all the way to the beginning of the year. So there was never ever like what did we do? I don't know. Did you check the calendar? When the dates were on it, like this one, this is when we were still in school. So I had a little different format because we were in school every day, and I could tell them what we did and what we turned in and what was homework. So kids didn't really have a good excuse to not know what the heck we were doing. And what happened was I did link them to the actual assignment, which I found later. I didn't do that in the beginning, but I did find it later. That was beneficial because when we were remote and kids were like, I needed to do this from before, it's missing. I just linked everything so they could go back and they could find it easy. And then how it looks on the Google Slides side is it's just a Google slideshow. So what I did was I made the calendar at the bottom, and I just duplicated that slide multiple times so I could just make sure that I never lost it and didn't, have to delete information in it or make a new one. So I would duplicate it a few times and leave it at the bottom. And each time I would go in and I would type in what the date was and what we were doing. And then I'd move that slide to the very top. And that was what we ended up using. That was going to be what they'd see for that week. And then when we went into remote learning, I changed the format a little bit. So obviously we were doing more on a weekly basis. So I would have whatever it was we were doing in order. So I just told them, okay, this is what we got to do first, waves worksheet. Then you got to do the Doppler effect Flipgrid poster, and then review this Quizlet. And then sometimes I would have like optional review worksheets, or I would have a Zoom meeting I'd plug in there and I'd put the date the Zoom meeting was going to be on or whatnot. So that's how that worked for the Google slideshow. Now, how to get it into your Canvas. So you can do this not just on a home page, but you can also do this in an assignment. So sometimes people use the external tools and upload a slideshow, but then it doesn't actually go through as a slideshow as easily. It just shows your entire thing. So if you want them to go through a slideshow, you can embed it into an assignment as well. So all of the edit screens, so I'm back at my home, and all of the edit screens are going to look the same as far as assignments go, pages. So this is a page and I'm editing my page. So when I go in, you can see it looks exactly like I just had it. But what you're going to need is something different. You're going to need to be looking at the HTML editor screen. And that is so we can paste code. So what we'll have to do is go back to your slideshow, and you're going to click File, and you're going to click Publish to the Web. So by doing that, it's going to give you a live link where they would just literally have a link to it. Or if you want it actually live and embedded or showing up as is, you're going to click the Embed tab. I leave mine at medium, and I leave this at the default because it actually does not auto advance in Canvas. I thought, oh man, they're going to be looking at it and it's going to move. It doesn't. They have to manually go through it. So I just leave that as it is. You're going to copy the code. And what I do is I pay attention to what the code starts with. So if you do this next year and you copy your course over into your new course when you move on, it's going to take your Google slide with you from the year before. So I always like to remember, okay, it starts with this iframe here. So when I get into my homepage again, I'm going to change it over to the HTML editor. So now I'm looking at all the code. And I also had, as you could see, modules. I had a Skyward link. I told them check Skyward constantly for your grades, what you're missing. Canvas, I didn't do absolutely all my grading in Canvas. There were some things in Skyward that were not necessarily graded directly in Canvas. So I had a little Skyward link to remind them. But that means all of this had to be in the code as well. So you can see here the table, there's the link to Skyward, and there's that iframe. So when I came in to redo this year's, since I had the same last year, I just highlighted the old and I pasted in the new. And I'm not doing that now because it's already the right one. But once you do the pasting, you save it and it's going to be sitting right there on your home page how you want it. So mine, and again, you can click through the slides, but mine was a live link. So some people maybe don't want to do that, but I found that was better. So normally my kids would have just gone into modules. They would just, said, oh, what are we doing? And then my modules were organized by unit. So I had whatever unit was, and this is electromagnetic waves. And then whatever work we did for that specific week, I had in that module underneath that. So in my waves, you can see each week was organized with what they had to do. So I always had the most, like what they were supposed to do at the top. So I would move my modules up to the top, and whatever the most recent work is that they had to do, I could move that to the top if you wanted. I liked my modules in order, but then I kept this just kind of going down, just work your way down. But that was always hard for kids still. So again, that's why I started hyperlinking my actual assignments into my calendar. So what I would do for that is just to hyperlink. If you're not aware, you're gonna, so whatever assignment you're in, if you want to hyperlink it, just take the URL straight from there, go to your Google Slides, whatever the name is. This is not the name, but I'm going to just show you. You're going to highlight, and then you're going to go up to this little link button right here, insert link, and then you pop in the link there. And then once you hit save, I'm not going to do that because it's the wrong link, but that's going to then put that assignment directly into it. So again, it's pretty easy. It didn't take me a lot of time. It was much more organized for my students. And you can see here, this is a YouTube video I made of myself sharing some notes they needed to take. You can embed YouTube videos very similarly into your assignments. You can embed a Google slide, so they have to just go through it. Okay, so hopefully that answered the questions. And if you have any more, you feel free to ask.